Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Cultivating Victory. I'm here with Suzanne Ricketts from Beyond and Back, and a special guest today, Angelica Ruiz Font. And Angelica is a biologist at the Institute, the National Polytechnic Institute in Puebla, Mexico. She is somebody that, she and I go back a long way. She has done work in environmental microbiology. She's established large collections of microbes from desert plant systems and soil microbes. And she works closely on a number of projects that help to integrate these microbes with plant growth and direct applications for agriculture. So one of the things that, that prompted me to invite Angelica today is that, as you know, Suzanne and I have done a lot of talk and discussion on the idea of victory gardens and propagating these victory gardens, getting more people involved in planting. Home gardening, of course, helps with food production. It helps restore the environment, and it helps improve human nutrition and health. But all health starts with environmental health. And as Angelica and I talked about my Victory Garden project, it turns out she's involved in something much larger. She's actually got whole groups of women planting forests in Mexico. So with that, I'd like to introduce Angelica. And if you'd share with us a little bit, Angelica, about the project you're working on, we're looking forward to hearing about it.
You can see the point?
Yes.
Maybe okay. Okay, this is the title of the poster I present maybe 2 weeks ago in San Diego for a bioenergy meeting in a industrial microbiology and biotechnology symposia. And you know, around the world, we have the same problem. The cover of the forests decrease. The percentage of the forests every year and at the future decrease more because we don't have seed bank, and we have all forests, and we have sick forests, and with bacteria and insect, and we have a lot of problems about this topic. In Mexico, we have this amount of hectare in potential forests. This means 70% of the land in Mexico. This means the most area in Mexico, the potential use is for forests. We don't have area for agriculture because the geography don't let put agriculture. But the reality, right now, we have 50 millions of hectare. Other point important in this project is Mexico has the highest diversity of pine in the world. We have 47 taxes in different part of the origin of pines, and the biologist means is the source of biodiversity of pines in Mexico. Because we have different ecosystem, the arid land and tropical area, and this means we have different ecosystems, and this is the source of biodiversity of pines. Okay. We have you can see here the reforestation in Mexico. The principal guide of the reforestation or afforestation is the government. We don't have the small producers like in Noruega, in Finlandia, in Europe. We don't have this kind of the forest industry, and the government is the leader of the reforestation process, the producer, and they have a really good numbers, really good statistics, but this is not real data. This is fake data, because the reality is we have abandoned soil, we have poor soils, and you can see here the forest health is really a small amount. No, this means the plan is the amount of the area with a small producers, is the program to promote the small producers. And you can see reforestation, but this is the land the government put new plant, new pines, but the amount of survivor is really low. Sorry, because some slides is in Spanish, but the important part is here. For example, they say 70%, the government says 70% of the plant survive, but the real data is here. This is a thesis, Burns, maybe she's in Maryland University. This woman came and put in a Mexican area, is let me see, sorry, it's a conservative area, it's a special area for conservation in Mexico, the national park, Biosfera Sierra Gorda. And she worked with 2 different pines. This is the real data. 26 of survivor, the plant, the small amount of survival plants. Okay, the goal in this project,
Angelica, is this 25% of the replanted trees that are surviving, or is this 26% of the original forest?
No, it's this area, they don't have nothing. It's a clear area, and the government put the trees, but just survive 26%. Yeah. And okay, in this antecedent, or in this with this data, we are working in microbial consortium for plant growth promotion bacteria in order to ensure the survival of these plant species in arid land on soil with poor nutrients. you know, Mary, the microbes in roots, no, the microbes in rhizospheric, and endophytic microbes, and this is the approach. We have a sorry, no, this. We are looking for microbial diversity. This is the source of microbial diversity. We have a restoration test, restoration of secondary forests. We collect microbes in oak agave land. The other group of other is in desert, you know, in Chihuahua Desert in New Mexico. Other group of microbes is in a green forest, a dry forest in Veracruz. And this means we have 4 different sources of microbial diversity. And I want to talk about this specific restoration process. Okay, we choose a site is dry and calcareous soil. They have grassland area. We have 6 pine species. These species they are produced. These species are produced by government. The government in nurseries, they give us the 6 different pines. Is the most produced pines, and we have 4 nutrient formulas: pine straw compost, liquid guano formula, IPN patent substrate or compost, and hydrogel fertiguano. And we have this then here, sorry, here. This is the survival, the timeline restoration secondary forest ASSAY. You can see this is the time. It starts here, the plantation. We put the plants here and follow survival for more than 300 days. This is the survival, for example, day 30. This is the survival, it's very good. You can see here the amount of the rain, the raining season here dry season. I think we had very good amount of water by raining season. Then the survival in 150 days is this. This pine is sorry, okay, this is a good, the good pine in poor soils in Tlaxcala, in Puebla, and this is the highest survival. Okay, here we collect microbes. Mary, you can see the amount of unit of colony forming, and then collect here. Okay, we collect microbes where the plants survive. I don't want, or I don't matter about this microbe, because I collect microbes here and here, no?
Yeah.
Here where when we have the best survival. Okay. I made this different analysis No, it's analysis for a collect the Finland producers. I read a paper. They in a Finland research. They collect microbes in a forest in Finland and Norway, and they are talking about the five different characteristics. You know, cellulose degrading, phosphate solubilizing, hydrolysis of pectin, chitinolytic activity, you know, like against fungi and insects, and indolic acid production, no? Here the results, we have almost 200 microbes, different microbes, and the most microbes is here in green and dry forests. Then the restoration ASSAY. Here are microbes, Mary, the Suaeda and the chenopods. The chenopods microbes, agave land, and pine forests. And you can see, for example, here, phosphate solubilizing, we have 45 morphotypes, 45 microbes, and the source is in restoration ASSAY. Here, for example, pectin, the most microbes is from agave land and quercus, the oak land, agave and oak land. Here the chitinolytic activity is from restoration ASSAY. And in dolacetic production, we have 48 morphotypes, and it's important from oak, agave land, restoration ASSAY, and desert, no? Okay. And with this information, we built, or we are developing a consortia. Right now, we are working in a BioASSAY for test these microbes. Okay, this is okay, this is, for example, solubilizing. You know, in the world we have the problem because the source or phosphate is down, is decreasing. The huge mines in Russia for phosphate is agotado. Mary, I don't know the word in English. The word in Spanish is agotado, terminado. Las minas, the mines, Russian mines.
Closing, or it's depleted.
Yeah, depleted. Is the reason because it's so important to work and discover new microbes, and if the microbes can produce phosphate solubilization of phosphate is really important, and we collect a lot of morphotypes. These are in raining season and dry season is different microbes. Okay.
Angelica, do you see a difference in are you seeing more bacterial or more fungal morphotypes that solubilize phosphorus?
It's bacteria. It's bacteria.
Okay.
Because I have two fungi, and I use media for bacteria, Mary.
Okay.
It's pH 7.2, and I don't use acid media.
Okay.
Okay, the other point in this project is this. I have a I want to work with a woman. This is my purpose for decentralizate of the pine and forest production. I think the problem in Mexico is we don't have forest industry because the government support production in a nursery, and the government says what kind of plants you have to produce. And I think this is a big mistake. But the other part, we don't have the culture of the forest. At the past, maybe 60 or 70 years ago, it's so common that little town produce plants and cultivate the forests. Right now, we don't have the culture of the create forests, and I am proposing the small scale forestry unit. This unit has different components. One component is you need to use the substrate with a consortia, microbial consortia, to improving plant survival. Other part is the women participating in this program. And other part is like a IPN regional forestry technology, because we want to create like an online course and share the knowledge, the studies about the forests. Right now, we are working with 4 different areas in a dry area close to the volcanoes. Other experimental site is in surround the city. This is I want to mix, or maybe I want to put in this idea Victory Garden, because we want to put in a small scale forestry. We have a different component. Every experimental unit has the requirement is we need a woman, like a leader of the small scale forestry unit. This woman need to read very well, use the computer. If she has technology education, for example, in the high school, like for example, lab technology in Mexico, in high school, some schools you can receive like a specialty. And if this woman has the specialty in technology, it's a good possibility of the woman to have a small scale forestry unit. Other requirement we ask is about the water, the area or the part where we set the small scale forestry unit. We need to put the water. The woman has to put water, or if she has a source of water, is perfect. And then we put there a structure, metallic structure, and put the shadow mesh, shadow mesh. I don't know if it's correct word. And we provide training and seed and straw and materials to the woman produce 20,000 plants in 2 years. And the woman, she have to return to the program the half of the production, and she keep the half of the production. This is a model of the biomass. Mary, remember I told you we are working with Sergio in a bioethanol program.
Right.
Bioethanol program, and this project is like the feedstock project in order to asegurar, Mary, in order to
verify, yeah, to make sure.
Yeah, the plants, the biomass, because we need lignin cellulose biomass. But I want to work the possibility to the woman is in this chain of production.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if you understand me. Sorry.
Yes. So Angelica, we're still having a few little technical issues. I actually cut out for a little bit just as you were introducing the women's program. But so let me just summarize it real quickly what I understood, and then you can correct me. She's
okay.
So you've contracted with one woman who is growing trees, and the government supports her getting started on this, and then she keeps half, and the government gets half of the trees.
Okay, right now, Mary, right now the government has a government nurseries. For example, the army produce plants. The biggest nursery in Mexico is the army nursery.
Interesting.
It's crazy, no? No, it's wow. No, it's really crazy. I understand the point is decrease the money in decrease the money in production of plants. But the other part is you don't create a culture of forest. No?
Right.
And
right. Then people aren't engaged.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
People aren't engaged in stewardship. And we see some similar patterns here. A lot of our land, certainly in New Mexico and a lot of the land across the United States, is in national forests and government protected land. And in many ways, that's a national treasure because this land is preserved from development. It doesn't get turned into towns and housing developments and this kind of thing. But at the same time, it separates people from the land because you don't have the culture of stewardship. People don't understand how to care for forests, how to conserve water, how to build structures that help save the water. And so we see a decline in our watersheds, and that's becoming a big problem here in New Mexico.
Yeah.
So how many women are involved in the program, in the planting?
Is one woman per unit, and this woman can work with other 2 women, but it's like a family.
Small group.
A small group. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and how many units?
4. Right now is
Okay, so
we are trying to validate like a technology or the way to transfer technology to the woman. This is the purpose of the project. How create the process, and then we want to present this process to the government, and the government put money and create maybe 100 per state of the small scale forestry unit.
100 units?
Right now, just 4, because it's experimental, and we collect some data, like social and economic data, and how empower the woman in a specific area. And in 1 year, we want to make analysis and present the data to the government, the National Council of Forest, and the point is they need to create a special program for forest, woman forest, or woman forestry, or regional. The point is the regional or local forestry, because they have a specific species, but the program in Mexico, the governmental program, they have just maybe 20 species of the trees. It's crazy, because in Mexico is maybe the third place the biodiversity in plants at the world, and this program reduce the biodiversity. This kind of program, the governmental program, reduce, and we need to create the local tools, or the local power, or the local leaders to produce plants. But right now, because I have money just for 4 units, experimental units.
So when you get the growers in each unit producing trees, and you say they keep half, are they having success? Do they market the other half? Are they able to sell those within the area? What do they use their half for? What do you see happening with that?
With the trees?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right now, just I have a woman who produce like strawberries and this kind of plants, and it's the local, and ella misma, Mary, she eat the produce, but nobody of these women produce. Nobody has a nursery right now. At the future, we want to set a area in local area and share the forest. I don't know if you know, in Mexico we have a common areas, communal areas, or community areas.
Okay.
In municipal areas, they have private areas, and other part is communal or community areas.
Okay.
And in this place, she can to create a forest or gardens. When I am biologist, and for me is very clear the how important is the forest. But when I go with this woman, she wants to eat, or she wants to lettuce, or beans or this kind of nurseries, no? And this is my interest in Victory Garden, no? Because I can put this idea in a training in a training project. Maybe the woman is like a hook of the project, no? El anzuelo, Mary, the hook.
Yes. To start building from there.
Yeah.
And yet, if she's already interested in the food gardening,
yeah, exactly.
Growing those and also growing and maybe you can use that to start showing the interdependence between the trees that build soil microbes and soil biodiversity.
Yeah.
And how that supports the garden health.
The project has we need in each unit 70 meters, square meters, 70. No, 60, sorry, 60 square meters. 6 by 10.
Okay.
Is the minimal area we need.
For the trees?
For a producer, for a nursery. And we have a plan, we have a draw, and we distribute there the nursery, and maybe we can put there the Victory Garden area in this area. Remember, I asked you about the area for Victory Gardens.
Yes. Well, and really, what we're doing with the Victory Gardens is very, very grassroots and very volunteer-based, and each individual creates their own Victory Garden with the resources that they have. So,
okay.
You know, I have space at home. I've got a
yeah.
But we're water limited. So I've got a fairly good sized plot of garden. But I have one person who has agreed to keep a Victory Garden, who's keeping a pot of chives, a pot of herbs in her kitchen.
Okay. I think
in the city, she doesn't have space for a garden, but she's going to keep that growing because the idea behind it is to start communicating the importance of local food production.
Exactly.
And so, you know, I think in time, as things get going, people like this who are doing very tiny things will start connecting with others, and then the culture grows. Because you're right, I think the culture is a big part of the change. And I think for more than a century worldwide, there's been this movement toward the culture of focusing on industrial pursuits and not taking care of home food production, home health, home learning, home education, and local culture. And so we've got this massive global culture now, but there are a lot of holes down at the lower levels where resources are not getting distributed very well.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I think that so there's nothing real formal about a Victory Garden. It's more the individual's commitment that I'm going to start growing food for myself and my family.
Okay.
Any way I can.
Yeah.
And this connects them to nature, and that connection is hopefully grows, right, Mary?
Right. I think as people start tasting the food they grow at home naturally, that right there is a big change, because all of a sudden you start to realize that the food you're eating from the store doesn't give you the same effect. And when you combine that with the awareness that flavor is caused by is part of the nutritional, it's influenced by the nutritional balance of the food. And so you start eating local food, it tastes better and you feel better, and disease problems start to go away, then I think we start seeing the cultural shift. But if you don't have that experience, you don't ever grasp the connection between the food you're eating and how your health and the environmental health. And really, it's all connected. But we've broken things apart. 100 years, maybe 100 years ago, I know the American writer Mark Twain is often quoted as saying the specialist knows more and more about less and less. I think we've become a very specialized society that doesn't really understand the relationship between our environment, our soils, our food, and our health. And we're seeing a lot of problems worldwide because of it.
Yeah, I think I have other good point, because close to my work, I had the horticulture area. They produce like I don't know the name in English, is col, como repollo. It's like a lettuce, but it's strong. It's like it's a col. I don't know. It's
so a green. Green.
The let me see, the Kentucky Fried Chicken salad.
Oh, like coleslaw, like cabbage?
Col salad, yeah. Cabbage,
Okay.
yes, sir. Cabbage. They produce cabbage, different kind of lettuce, cilantro, onion, and in this area they produce maybe 3 times per year. We have a lot of water there, and I think it's a good potential of the interchange of ideas, because they are a good producers. The woman and the men there is like teachers of the Victory Gardens, potential teachers in Victory Gardens, because they can produce very well, no? And I think it's a good opportunity to mix or create like a base of conocimiento, no?
So what would you need to get it going, to push in that direction?
Oh, I think like create the basic ideas about Victory Garden. No, I think the first question of the woman is how much I can produce in a Victory Garden, or what kind of plant is the best for a Victory Garden. I have to put money, I have to inversión, I don't know, investment. Yeah, I have a investment for a Victory Garden, and it's like a flyer. Maybe I need to create like a flyer of information about the Victory Gardens and examples. Maybe the other part is examples of Victory Garden in different parts of the world, or in New Mexico, no?
Right. As the idea starts to go, so we're trying to invite people into these talks to talk a little bit about their gardens. In fact, Suzanne, maybe you can tell us a little bit about yours. And kind of using it that way, because everybody has access to Google Hangouts and to YouTube. And none of us have any, it's not a funded project, it's not a structured project, it's more an idea that we want to propagate. And so, I don't know, Suzanne, tell us a little bit about what you do as far as a home garden.
Okay. Up until last year, I had just recently a maybe 4 foot by 4 foot, 4 foot radius circle.
Okay.
Not radius, diameter, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Circle, raised bed. And I had a little food forest in that last year. I had tomatoes, kale, okra, and probably cucumber.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just massively dense.
Okay.
And I thought, well, it grew that way, and I just let it go, and I had good production just in a 4-foot radius circle. It was probably not what somebody would have recommended to plant those plants that close together, because as they grew 4 feet tall and 3 feet wide, they were all intermingled, but it worked. They produced good things. So, okay, maybe it's not so bad if that's all you have and you can grow multiple things in there. That's what I took from that. So this year, Mary and I talked about different ideas, and I stumbled upon this no tilling, no digging, no fertilizing, no weeding way of. I have grass in my backyard, so the way to do this is you put down cardboard. So I expanded my garden to about 40 feet long and about 4 feet wide around that circle. And I put down 4 layers of cardboard and then a good 6 or 8 inches of compost, and I've planted in that. My intent is now to put some sort of mulch on top, either wood chips or maybe straw. I need to get that done soon to hold in the rain, all the rain we've been having lately. And I've got quite a bit more now in there. It's not as dense as it was last year, but certainly much, maybe more like 30 by 40, 120 square feet, or maybe a little bit more of growing area now with very little work and investment. And the other thing that's going on really big here.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mary, if you want. I can come back at my thought.
Because
I was going to change a little bit, so go ahead.
A lot of what I'm seeing in the area, too, as people start growing their gardens, is that I think many first-time gardeners get stuck thinking they've got to have a certain plan and follow a preset set of directions. And yet once you get out there and start doing it, you find that your land is different from every other piece of land out there. And you're going to have to make changes on that site that aren't in the books to make it work. And so really the big first step is just to get people out there growing and trying things and learning things and talking to people. And then all the ideas start coming, And it doesn't take a lot of work. And I think Suzanne and I have both found the more you increase your compost, your mulch, your soil preparation, the less work the garden is later.
Yeah, yeah. And something that is really big in this area now are community gardens, Angelica, and I don't know if you've heard that term or not, but the city or the municipality will donate vacant land or open up vacant land that people can just come in and put their own garden on the city property. They'll go in and they'll put a raised bed, maybe using wood boards to raise the bed, and then fill that and have their own little garden there if they don't have room at home. If they live in an apartment or a crowded area. And it brings people together. They share ideas, they share experiences. The city's supporting it. It's growing food for people. It's communal in many ways. They meet people that have similar interests, and it really brings people together. And I see a lot of strength being forged out of that concept, it seems like to me. I don't know if they do anything like that in Mexico or not, but it seems like to me that Like, I'm even thinking of these churches up here that do a lot of ministry work down in Mexico. Whether they might, my impression, and it's very limited, is that they do a lot of housing sort of projects down in Mexico. Seems like to me, teaching people how to grow their own food would be very valuable. People need housing, of course, but eating is, they've already got something set up. Eating is certainly high up on the priority list and need list. I don't know. I wonder if church ministries would be interested in somehow supporting this sort of an effort. Just a thought that came to mind as you were talking.
So we've had kind of a long broadcast, and I think I'll stop the recording. I believe that will keep us on a little bit longer if we want to continue talking afterwards. Is there anything else? So I really want to thank Angelica for coming on with us today. Because it's just exciting to hear some of these programs developing to the south of us, and it always surprises me, living near the border as I do, how little awareness people have from one side of the border to the other of what the other country is really like. So recognizing how much plant biodiversity is in Mexico, I think, is important, and it's great to have people like Angelica down there helping people preserve this resource, because it really affects all of us.
It was a very interesting presentation and work.